Another emotional roller coaster ride for the Houston Texans and another win for the Texans, but it comes at an extreme cost. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah,
Texans
you know
get a
what we about
win
to do.
over the Denver Broncos. Should it have been that close? And how significant of a loss did the Texans suffer? Could be the biggest loss that they've suffered in a very, very massive win. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans in a sec. Just got back from the game. Texans topped the Broncos 22-17. I was in the locker room, talked to the players, etc. A little bit of a bittersweet mood in there because you got the dub, but you also lost one of your best players and one of the most beloved guys in that locker room in Tank Dell. Tank Dell goes down. He's going to be done for the season. Be interested to see, what his status is at the start of camp next year and all that. But the Texans find a way to win over the Denver Broncos. And I think that it does it should be mentioned that a team that has constantly battled the next man up type of thing, especially at the wide receiver position, in a game in which you lose Tank Dell, Nico Collins has one of the better games of his career, to the point where he's now 9 yards away. I think I saw Storm reports say he's 9 yards away from surpassing 1,000 yards. So they have figured some stuff out. KB says, finally, Landry, hey, it's a crowded locker room. It's a much more crowded locker room. Much harder to get away from NRG now than it was in the past. Couple things to take away here. My biggest takeaways from this game. I'll start with takeaway number one. Life without Tank Dell moving forward. Where do you go? How do you replace him? Obviously, you're going to need Nico Collins to continue to do what he's doing. Does it become easier for teams to take him out of the game now that you don't have the threat of Tank Dell? Noah Brown's going to have to step up. We saw Brevin Jordan do his thing days after telling me on the radio show that this was the biggest game of his career. I actually got to catch up with Brevin for a little follow-up in the locker room that we'll see in here. So how do you replace him, though? Do you run the ball? They're still struggling to do that. They're not. The run blocking is off. Dameon Pierce, I think he was 2.7 per carry. They clearly like Dameon Pierce more than Singletary at this point. 15 carries, 41 yards, 2.7, and he gets the touchdown. How do you replace Tank Dell moving forward? That's going to be one of the biggest challenges. Takeaway number two, the Will Anderson game. We asked for it. We asked the question, are we going to get the Will Anderson game? He's been solid. The advanced stats, very friendly to Will Anderson, but is there going to be a game in which we say they won that game because of Will Anderson? This damn well could have been it. Right off the top, first offensive play for the Broncos, sacked by Will Anderson. Punt by the Denver Broncos, tipped by Will Anderson. All over the place, forcing Russell Wilson to throw the ball away, chasing him all over the place. We also had Will Anderson tip one of Derek Stingley's interceptions, who we'll get to in a second. We saw him just making plays all over the place. Another sack. Will Anderson, this was the Will Anderson game. We wondered, were we going to get it? We got it. And good for him and good for them, because they do not win this game without Will Anderson. By the way, Russell Wilson this week, his media availability, I watched the whole thing. I think it was probably like a 9-minute interaction with the media types up there in Denver, or over there in Denver. Probably about 5 of it was about him wanting to play into his 40s. I don't know how many people Russell Wilson has that are like close to him that can, like, how sometimes you need people to tell you things that are difficult to tell. If Russell Wilson has anyone that loves him, they need to tell him that dude doesn't need to be playing into his 40s. Now, he's the best quarterback that the Texans will face, I think, for the remainder of the season. The quarterbacks laid out for the Texans at this point are Tim Boyle with the Jets, the ghost of Joe Flacco with the Browns, Will Levis 2 times, and then Gardner Minshew. If that guy's going to play a few more years, I don't know what that's going to look like. That's going to be a really, really, really hard watch. Really, really hard watch. But the Will Anderson game, takeaway number 2. Takeaway number 3, elite looking Stingley. Derek Stingley. He's had trouble staying on the field, but since he's gotten back this year, I mean, he looks like the number 3 overall pick. He looks good. I mean, I know that there were Jets fans having fun with this Stingley versus Sauce type of thing, but I mean, the ball skills that Derek Stingley possesses, there are not a lot of corners that have those, and it's also instinctive. I mean, and that is a deadly combination. When a guy can go out there and have instincts and ball skills like that, I mean, that's crazy to watch. Now, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to fully get used to it or not. Sometimes there's just like, bad luck that comes with it. I don't know. But if that guy, they do not win this game without Derek Stingley. The first interception that Derek Stingley had, and if you were at the game, and shout out to everyone that was at the game that came up and said, what's up. If you were at the game, as soon as Denver scored that first touchdown, and that was where Cortland Sutton got the best of Jalen Petrie, and cut it down to one possession. As soon as that happened, there was a lot of orange in the stands. You had Broncos fans chanting, "Let's go Denver." And you could kind of feel the momentum swing in the building. If you didn't know Broncos fans were there before, you could feel it in the building. And then on the Texans' next possession, first down, CJ Stroud gets sacked. Third down, we're going to get to that third down in a second because DeMeco Ryans, you've got to stop doing something. Nick Caserio, DeMeco Ryans, y'all need to get together and stop doing something. Talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to nitpick here. But on third down, CJ Stroud gets sacked. Damn near Denver recovers deep in Texans territory. Fortunately, Dare falls on the ball. And the momentum, you can just feel it. Texans have to punt to Denver. Let's go Broncos all over the place. Will Anderson gets the tip and Derek Stingley gets the interception. It's not easy. When you say that an interception is tipped, that at times unless it's just going straight in the air into your arms, a lot of times that's harder to make a play on. And the play that Derek Stingley made there, it completely quieted things down at a significant level. And then the second interception, I don't pretend to be a film watcher, but I was watching this game live. And before that play, I said, where is Jalen Petrie? Let's watch Jalen Petrie. The film watchers are going to realize, and they're going to see this, that on that play, Sutton got Jalen Petrie to bite so bad that any other cornerback there except Derek Stingley, it's a touchdown, and it is on a very crowded low light reel for Jalen Petrie. Jalen Petrie bit. The throw was maybe a little bit in the air, a little bit too long, and Derek Stingley went back, recovered, and got that second interception. So takeaway number 3 is elite Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley is looking incredible. Takeaway number 4, Nico Collins plays like the guy. We mentioned Tank Dell leaving the game. Nico Collins plays like that dude. And Nico Collins, right now, there's been a debate, and a healthy debate, and I think a good debate when talking about this Texans receiving core. Who's the top receiver? Who's the top guy? And 50% will say Tank Dell, 50% will say Nico Collins. There's no debate now. This is Nico Collins and everyone else. Now, do game plans get shifted now that there's no Tank Dell to worry about? Who knows? But Nico Collins right now, Nico Collins is the top guy, and he played like it. And Nico Collins did his thing. Also got to catch up with him after the game. You can see that on Twitter, on Instagram, and we'll break that down here on Tuesday. Nico Collins, got to talk to him about stepping up and stuff. He seemed pretty distraught by the Tank Dell news, as did CJ, who we'll hear from in here. Takeaway number 5, the offensive line, man. CJ Stroud sacked 5 times, still not able to run the ball. Juice Scruggs, he told me that the thing that he needs to work on the most is run blocking. He seems a little bit grossed out by it. But I anticipate that's going to improve because Juice Scruggs has had to do a lot in his rookie season. Like there's it's been impossible for him to get in a routine. You draft him to be a center, you play him at guard, he gets hurt, he comes in, he's immediately thrown to the Wolves. Then he starts a game. This week is going to be the first time that he's going to be able to do the same thing from 1 week to the next during his rookie season. And he acknowledges that he's got to be better in run blocking. And he said with a straight face, it will be. So we'll see there. Takeaway number 6, the remainder of the season laid out. And we'll hear from DeMeco Ryans. We'll go through the biggest plays of the game. But as we're sitting right now with the Texans, and I just got back from the stadium, so once this becomes official, we'll know. But as the Texans sit right now, they are on the outside of the playoff picture. They're right there. They have the same record as Pittsburgh, and then Cleveland right now is 7-4. Cleveland is in jeopardy of falling to 7-5. So the Texans could be tied 4 ways. 4 teams at 7-5. Denver falls to 6-6. So the race is lining up nicely for the Texans, and unfortunately, the Tennessee Titans weren't able to finish the job. Appreciate everyone for coming through. It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans daily digital content. Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans. Let's hear what DeMeco Ryans has to say. Up and down game, and then I'm going to tell you on the back end of this something that DeMeco Ryans did that I think he's got to stop. And I think all coaches need to stop, but he really needs to stop and needs to understand this. And it's more frustrating because it's a week after he made another decision. We'll talk about that in a sec, but let's hear from DeMeco. Here's DeMeco after the Texans topped the Broncos.
Interception from the time you make a call till you were sure you wrestled the ball away, and just take us through that.
Yeah, what a play by Jimmy there at the end of the game. We sent the call in. Our guys been battling in the red zone all week, right? Friday's our red zone day, guys. They put the work in, right? And we needed it. It showed up. First, it starts with JG and his pressure to get that on Russell at that point in time, and then Jimmy to go up and secure the ball. Once he let it go, I seen Jimmy was underneath, and he went up with both hands and pulled it down, and it was a big-time play. It's great having Jimmy back, and you see his impact instantly, on our entire team, not just defensively, but you see his impact on our team. So it's great to have him back.
What were you feeling when you saw that actually had the ball and you won the game?
Yeah, excited and super excited for our guys. We talked about how we had to train. We knew it was going to be a tough battle. We had to train, really good team there with the Broncos, and our guys, they fought to the end, right? And I'm just really proud of the guys for, nobody blinks in that moment. There's time left. We still have opportunity to make plays. Guys stepped up, made a big-time play there to end the game, and just credit to the defense, just all day. Gave up a couple big plays there, but for guys to stand up, most importantly, Sting, to see Stingley show up again, for the 3rd consecutive week, getting 2 interceptions, it's big time. Just continue to see his growth and his playmaking ability show up. All right, he's an impact player for our defense, and it shows each and every week. And we talk about the ball every week, and we needed it this week. We win the turnover battle, and we won the game, and that was the difference.
Hey, Coach, to stay with the defense, can you just talk about the impact that Will Anderson Jr. had on this game?
I mean, what a game by Will. I think everybody seen his stat line. You talk about tackles for loss. You talk about sacks, putting pressure on the quarterback. Like, Will, he wreaked havoc today. And that's what – so we envisioned when we selected Will, and to see him show up in a big-time game for us, show up really being an impact player for us, that's who Will Anderson is. And he shows it every single day. So it really happy for Will in the game that he's had. He had a big-time game for us, calls the interception. One of the interceptions that Stingley got, he calls the interception. So it's just everybody playing together, right? Everybody making plays, leaning on each other. That's good defense.
Coach, you talked about once your heart stopped beating, you were there for a while. When you call your last time out, exactly what did you set up or what you anticipate setting up to get to that point?
Yeah, when we call a timeout, we were just try to get a picture there, a snapshot of what we thought they were going to do. And Sean did a good job of changing it up. He changed his personnel and changed up the look there. But just trying to make our guys aware of just the situation and things we had practiced in that moment. Of course, they can do anything, but just wanted to make our guys aware of what we were anticipating as coaches.
Coach, getting win number 7 today matches the win total for the past 2 seasons, and you guys are in the playoff hunt. Can you talk about the faith aspect of this group of players, just how they believe that they can get it done, get to the playoffs, and just win games compared to the last 2 seasons?
And for me, I don't worry about what happened in the past here with the Texans. Like, this is 2023. This is our team. This is our brand of football, and our guys are resilient. A resilient group of men, right, who show up every single week. They put the work in every week, and they show up on Sundays, and they execute and they play for each other, and that's all I ask for. And our guys continue to get better.
Did the referees give you an explanation on that Desmond King forced fumble return for a touchdown?
Oh, not the explanation I would like to hear.
What a garbage ass call that was, by the way. What an absolute horrible call that was.
They did give me an explanation, but oh man, credit to Dez. I mean, Dez stepped up for us, played meaningful snaps for us, and his getting him back last week and gave me even more this week. He showed up and made some big time third down stops there for us, big time tackles. So really proud of Dez and him being ready to go and make impact plays for us. Wish we would have got that touchdown, but it was a great play by him.
Well, DeMeco, obviously, Nico continues to come up big, and that became even more critical today with the unfortunate injury to Tank.
And Nico shows up every week. And you talk about 2 catches, over 50 yards, over 190 yards receiving. Because I tell Nico, man, you're a big-time playmaker. Believe it. And you go put it on display every week, and he continues to show up for us. Really proud of the work that Nico has done, right? Improving as a player, showing his playmaking ability as well, big-time deep threat for us, and just one of our most reliable receivers, right? And at the end of that is just, it really hurt us losing Tank. Tank has been very valuable to our team. He's provided a spark to our team each and every week that he's out on the field. Everybody's just waiting for that moment. It's going to happen when he shows up and he makes an explosive play for us, right? Or he's scoring a touchdown. So to lose Tank there with a leg injury is just, it hurts our team, right? Really, because of what he means to our team, not only on the field, but off the field. Tanks always has a huge smile on his face, always full of energy, and it just really hurts losing Tank.
Can you follow up? Is there an update on him?
Yeah, we're still getting more information on him.
Because you talked about wanting to win in a blowout at that point, but the more you guys play these kind of games, do you see the team being more comfortable in them?
For sure, when you are in these games, and this is the NFL every week, I think that's why they have that Red Zone channel. It comes down to that last moment every single week. Every game seems like it's within a score, right? So it's how you operate in that moment, right? Not blinking, not panicking. It's like everybody being under control, calm in the moment, and just executing. And that's what our team is continuing to show each and every week.
Take 2 more in the back.
How you doing, Coach? Who replaces that juice, that speed, that Tank adds to the offense? Can you talk about the emotional response from the team in general in real time when he goes down?
Right, no one replaces Tank. Tank is his own man. Nobody replaces Tank, but everybody around him just has to step up and just do their part, right? Be their best in whatever role, whatever area we ask them to. We just ask them to be their best, and it takes everyone, right? When you lose the guy who brings that emotional lift to your team, it's going to take everyone to dig a little deeper, all right, and pick it up and do a little bit better.
That's 2 games in a row y'all struggle to run the ball, and that puts more pressure on CJ. What does it say about Stroud that he can be in those obvious passing situations and still produce?
With CJ being in the obvious passing situations, I feel like that's where he thrives the most, right? He's comfortable in those positions. He shows up and makes those plays every single week for us. When we do have to pass it, of course, we want to run the game, run the ball, better if we can. But if it's not, when you can throw the ball like that, it just flips. Maybe the passing game opens up the running game for us. CJ is continuing to do a really good job for us. All right? Nobody asked me, Bama, Of course, Bama should be in. All right. All right.
Great. Yeah, there you go. It's DeMeco Ryans here in the locker room. Be sure to subscribe, right along here on in the locker room on YouTube. We'll hear from CJ Stroud a little later. He was very emotional about the Tank Dell thing. So I teased it at the front, and I just want to say this. First of all, you guys know how I feel about DeMeco. He was my guy from the very beginning. I almost think DeMeco, despite being in Coach of the Year running, I almost think he doesn't get enough credit for the job he's done. He was the perfect hire. If there's ever been a perfect hire, I think DeMeco has been the perfect hire. I think his clock management has been perfect. I think the only complaint that I've had about DeMeco Ryans has been kicking the field goal last week instead of going for it on 4th and 12. But, some people will say the field goal was close, so it's really not that big of a deal. And the bottom line is, all I'm saying is there's not a lot to complain about, and there still is not. But there's something that he did in this game that could have been costly, and it's something that a lot of coaches do. And if you listen to the show in the Loop Sports Radio 610, I talk about this a lot, and I don't know why coaches do this. Quit calling timeouts to save 5 yards. 9 times out of 10, it's not worth it. Like we've transitioned into a world where on 4th and 4, coaches are going for it. That used to be unheard of because of analytics. Coaches are going for 2-point conversions at different points. Like there's all this data, the risk reward, etc. In this game, before CJ Stroud fumbled and had the near strip sack with Denver having the momentum, it was 3rd and 13. The Texans were late getting a play in. So they decided to call a timeout to avoid 3rd and 13 with the lead to keep it at 3rd and 13 instead of 3rd and 18. Stop, man. Like that's not worth it. Just a week ago, you literally decided to kick a 58-yard field goal with a guy who had never made a 50-yard field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 12 with CJ Stroud. In that situation, if we're just talking about cost versus reward, that timeout is way too valuable. Like a timeout is worth 5 yards. You're likely. You even heard Bobby Slowick say this week that 4th and 12 is a long shot. So 3rd and 13 at that point in the game, and it's a 1-possession game at that point, that's a long shot. So if it's not ideal, but if you're not organized enough, just take the 5 yards and go to 3rd and 18. You need those timeouts. There's a chance that they would have needed those timeouts. So the coaches need to quit the calling a timeout to save 5 yards type of thing. Something else that's being said, it is the locker room #1 source for Texans digital content. The Tank Dell injury. I think it is complete revisionist history to sit there and say, well, why was he in that scrum in the first place? Like he shouldn't have been there. That could have happened to anyone. You could have weighed 295 pounds and your leg gets tied up. That could have happened to anyone. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like tell Tank Dell not to play football? That seems like extreme hindsight for me. And I try not to deal in hindsight. A lot of times hindsight happens. And if the hindsight causes you to admit you were wrong or something, that's fine. But Tank Dell gets hurt like that. And all of a sudden the first thing we're saying is, man, why was Tank Dell in the mix having to block and whatnot? I don't really subscribe to that. Another guy that was a surprise contributor, Brevin Jordan. Brevin Jordan was on the show in the Loop Sports Radio 610. You'll hear it 10 a.m. Central tomorrow. And I asked Brevin Jordan, is this the biggest game of your career? This was Brevin Jordan before today. And Brevin Jordan had a career high in yards, immediate impact, did have a drop. But this was Brevin Jordan talking about this being the biggest game of his career.
Dalton Schultz, we saw him on the injury report. We saw you make a big play the other day. And a radio guy like me is calling this the biggest game of Brevin Jordan's career. Am I being dramatic?
Damn straight. Nah, you're damn straight right, man. It's a huge opportunity for me. It's is a huge opportunity for me. I'm excited for it.
It's been an interesting season for you, but you're not shying away. This is the biggest game of your career.
No, man, this is a huge game. This is no question the biggest game of my career, man. This is the first time in my 3 years, man. I'm like, I like really, get to be out there and be active, and so I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm just going to go out there and just, do what I do in the run game and in the pass game.
All right. So that was before the game. During the game, Brevin Jordan, right off the top, he ended up having 3 catches, 64 yards. Could have been more, but he had a drop. I caught up with him in the locker room, not this locker room, the Texans locker room after the game. And let's just say he was giddy. Here's Brevin Jordan.
Just the other day, I said this was the biggest game of your career. You
damn straight.
You said damn straight 2 times.
Yeah.
Be honest. Coming up to the game, it's the biggest game. Was there any extra nerves or anything like that?
Man, I was so ready. I was so ready to go. I mean, the whole week, when you're making the game plan, you're going through, the just everything, the game plan and what you're going to do. You don't get nervous because you've done it so many times against the same, the different looks that we expect the defense is going to give us. You know what I mean? So, nah, man, I was so cool. I was so calm, collective.
And you got involved early. Did you know that was going to be a thing?
Yeah,
how did that feel? Get involved early.
I was so juiced, man. There was actually a lot of plays we really didn't end up calling in the openers. That was played that was really meant to go to me, but it was awesome, man. I knew we were going to call that looky play. It was in the openers. Like we have meetings that we go over the openers every week, the first 20 plays. So I was ready to go.
You already ready for next week?
I'm ready to go. I could go out there and play right now, bro. I'm so juiced up right now. Still, I think I need the Toradol and everything to calm down.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you, man.
All right, there you go. It's Brevin Jordan here in the locker room. That was after the game. We'll hear from CJ in a second. Be sure to subscribe, like. Right along. Texans get the dub. Right now, scoreboard watching with Cleveland. I think they just tied it up 20-19 in LA. So we'll keep an eye on that. Pittsburgh took the L. Indianapolis was close to taking the L. They ended up winning in OT. So it's going to be a cluster as the Texans head into New York. You just heard Brevin Jordan say that he's ready to go. And he's going to have to be ready to go because he's going to have to be one of the guys that is going to have to step up and fill the void of perhaps the best weapon that this squad has on offense. Although Nico Collins making a pretty strong case for himself. Let's just go through what went down. We'll hear from C.J. Stroud in a second. Very emotional C.J. Stroud with the loss of a man who he calls his brother. Now he does have a lot of brothers. CJ Stroud is close with a lot of guys, but just going through what the mood was like at the stadium. Always like to bring that here and what the key plays were, kind of revisit it. Little preparation for Reaction Monday tomorrow at 10 Central. I'll say this first of all, there was a lot of orange in that building. It was a very loud Texans crowd, but as soon as Denver got any momentum, there was a lot of orange in the building. Broncos Nation, whatever the hell they call it. They showed out. They showed up. They weren't loud the whole time, but whenever something good happened, you could damn sure hear them, and they were very, very loud in this game. Right off the top, we asked the question this week, are we ever going to get the Will Anderson game? Will Anderson, he had an impact 4 downs into the game. He had the sack on first down, and then on fourth down, he nicked the punt that got the Texans in scoring position pretty much right off the top. A less than 30-yard punt after the sack. And you could see Will Anderson, he was ready to play. I know Patrick Storm put out the stats courtesy of PFF on how poor Denver's right tackle blocked. And Will Anderson right off the top got the Texans in scoring position. You had Brevin Jordan right off the top, 20-plus yards from C.J. Stroud. But then this is where it got a little frustrating and just seems like the Texans, even in a winning effort, they kind of continue to leave their meat on the bone a little bit. They had to settle for a field goal after Stroud and Beck couldn't connect on 3rd and 1. Now, there was kind of like mixed opinions on the frustration with that. I think it was very simple. I thought it was a good play call from Bobby Slowick on 3rd and 1. They don't have confidence that they can run the ball on 3rd and short, which is fine. But Beck's either got to be a playmaker and go up and make that catch, or CJ's got to put it on him. But other than that, there was plenty of room to run. There was more than enough room to catch the rock. Whether it's Stroud's execution, whether it's Beck's execution, on that 3rd and 1, you got to be able to make that catch. And struggling on 3rd and 1 has been kind of a theme for the Texans. But they take the 3-0 lead there. You then had, as we mentioned, the Will Anderson sack ended the second drive. You had the long reception to Collins in which Pat Surtain limps off the field. You immediately think Denver is losing their best player. Surtain ended up coming back into the game. Good for him. I don't want to see a player like that go down. But Surtain limped, didn't really know what it was. And the Texans, they're up 3-0. They're driving. 4th and 2. The Texans, after kicking the field goal on 4th and 1, they decide to go for it on 4th and 2. You have the penalty by, I think it was Laramie Tunsil. However, the personal foul, CJ Stroud draws a personal foul, which gives the Texans the automatic first down. I thought the funniest thing about this play was Dieter. Dieter looked like he was ready to go for CJ Stroud. He was really ready to get in the mix, but a big kind of a boneheaded penalty. You can make a case. Maybe CJ was just as aggressive as the guy that got the penalty, but we know it's a quarterback league, and the quarterbacks are going to get the flag. Will Anderson had the quarterback hit on the first play. That's right. And then on the second drive, he had the sack. I was surprised he didn't get the flag for going low, but yeah, he had the quarterback hit. And then on the second drive, he had the sack and the block punt. Dameon Pierce touchdown. There you go. 2.7 yards per carry for Dameon Pierce. They clearly like Dameon Pierce. Like what Devin Singletary did a few weeks ago, clearly means nothing. Dameon Pierce, he got the majority of the carry share. Some good runs here and there, but at the end of the day, still not as good of a job running the ball, whether it be the running back or the offensive line. But the Texans take a 10-0 lead. However, it comes at a cost. That touchdown immediately kind of takes a backseat to Tank Dell going down. And you could tell immediately as soon as they went to commercial, CJ Stroud was down praying. Dameon Pierce was saying, come get the trainer. And then as soon as he got on the card, it was clear. I mean, sometimes you can just tell when it's serious. Tank Dell's going to be out for the season, and he goes down. So he got a 10-0 lead, but there's still a little bit of a this is tough. In the chat, appreciate you, T. Do you think we're starting to see the Stingley we drafted? I would say yes, and we're about to get to some of the things that he did. Texans have talked a lot this season about next man up. I thought it was pretty, I don't want to say cool to see, but it was symbolic. And I asked Nico Collins about it, that Nico Collins, after the Texans lose Tank Dell, he has the 59-yard reception from CJ Stroud to end the first quarter. And I put NMU, that means next man up. I thought Nico Collins did a good job of stepping up in this situation. And he was real shook up by the injury. But he stepped up just like we've seen guys step up all year. Unfortunately, the Texans, it stalls again. They end up settling for a field goal, 13-0 on an Amendola field goal, who, by the way, didn't miss a field goal today. Been a lot going on for him. Keep an eye on what's up with Fairbairn. He's missed 4 games, so he could be back next week. We don't know the severity. They've done a good job of kind of keeping that one kind of under wraps. So the Broncos kick a field goal. They make it 13-3. One of the big plays of the game, and I think this would have saved a lot of people, a lot of heartache and a lot of stress. Texans using their timeouts at the end of the first half to try to perhaps steal some points. And, man, John Mechie, wide ass open. CJ Stroud, looks like he might have tried to lead him a little bit, or maybe Mechie didn't keep running, but that was one of those that you just thought he could have kind of thrown right to him and without leading. That's definitely one they would want to have back. But at 13-3, you make it 20-3 with this Denver offense. You've got to be feeling good. Instead, they're able to hang around down just 10 at half. But man, if they had connected there, and it was clearly there, that would have been huge. And potentially, if the Texans had not been able to squeak this game out, that would be a play that we're looking back at saying, damn, if only he would have hit Mechie there, but did not happen. So the Texans take the 13-3 lead. Second half, more of the same. Will Anderson game continues in the second half. He gets his second sack, first multi-sack game of the season. This on top of the block punt and another play to come, an assist to Derek Stingley, but Will Anderson continuing his dominance in the second half. We then have Nico Collins for 39 from CJ Stroud to set up a field goal. That makes it 16-3. At that point, Nico had a 52, 59, and 39-yard reception. So let me do some quick math, which is dangerous. I think that's 150 yards right there. 52, 111, 4. Yeah, 150 yards on 3 catches right there. Texans take a 16-3 lead. Then another big play. And this is, for all the talk last week, I kind of was dismissive of the officials last week against Jacksonville because I thought Jacksonville kind of benefited from the biggest call. This was perhaps the worst call of the season. Des King makes a big play. He makes a tackle on third down, which was going to force a punt in a 16-3 game. However, it should have been a touchdown. And I don't know how you go after the fact and have an imaginary whistle in a game like football where you're literally told to play to the whistle. But to sit there and say that forward progress was stopped when it wasn't stopped, and to take away a touchdown like that from Desmond King, who all he's done, by the way, is make plays. He had one blunder today, but that was the play right there. This game's over if Des King scores there. 23-3, that's a wrap. But Des King makes the play, and still a big play, but it results in a punt instead of a Texans touchdown. That was one of the worst calls of the season. Quite honestly, Texans unable though to score after the punt. You then have Jalen Petrie. He got burned and bodied by Sutton to make it 16-10. Petrie grabs Sutton, and Sutton just kind of shrugged him off. Then the PI, Sutton catches it. You know that teams are going to start to look for number 5 in coverage. Broncos found him there, and they make it a 1-possession lead, and it makes the Desmond King missed call even worse. And at this point, if you're in the stadium, and if you were there, if you watched it on TV, you could just kind of feel a potential Denver takeover. Let's go Broncos. That's all you were hearing. And the orange, it seemed like the orange, there already seemed to be a lot of orange. It almost felt like it was almost like a road game or a neutral site game at that point. Texans fans were loud, but it almost felt that way. And you could kind of feel the momentum going in Denver's favor. Then you had a sack on first down by the Broncos, a terrible timeout by DeMeco Ryans to save 5 yards on 3rd and 13, just moronic. And something that, and not just exclusive to him, but these coaches got to quit calling timeouts to save 5 yards. Timeouts are too valuable there. Then you had another sack, near disaster because CJ fumbles. Dare able to fall on it. It looked like for sure Denver was going to recover and that momentum was going to pay off. However, they maintained the momentum, but not at an extreme level. And fortunately, Derek Stingley has been elite because on the very next Denver possession, Derek Stingley gets an interception off of a Will Anderson tip. And it was absolutely phenomenal by Derek Stingley. 3rd straight week since he's returned that he's had an interception. Will Anderson, who's already had the multiple sacks, already had the nicked punt. He tips this into the hands of Derek Stingley, and the Texans avoid an absolute disaster, kill the Denver momentum. And CJ Stroud responds with a Nico Collins TD to make it 22-10. And at that point, feeling pretty decent. Now, again, you go back to the Desmond King thing, this should be over, but Derek Stingley at least gave you some room to breathe or at least exhale because it's a game of momentum. You hear all the cliches, game of inches, game of momentum. You could feel the momentum coming, and Derek Stingley immediately shut that down. We then had Denver, and this is another controversial call. This was Jimmy Ward. He had a penalty on Russell Wilson. We'll hear what Jimmy Ward had to say in a sec. But Jimmy Ward has a penalty on Russell Wilson. You then have the long play to Judy. He gets in to the 1 yard line, and then the Russ QB sneak. It makes it 22-17. Speaking of that call, let's hear what Jimmy Ward had to say about that play here. I caught up with Jimmy Ward. I'm trying to pull this up. Okay, here we go. Here was Jimmy Ward talking about first being out for a while, and second, the penalty. And he goes flag football on you.
For someone like you who loves to play, you talked to us about how excited you are to have to sit and watch the last couple of weeks, thinking back, like, what are you doing during the game? Is there like nervous energy or anything like that? How hard is that
compared to like playing and not playing?
Yeah, compared to not playing, because it seems like as soon as you see a football field, you want to go out there and play on it. How hard is that?
It's hard, man. It's hard to just see your brothers go out there and strain, and I can't do nothing but talk to them and tell them to do this and that, and I can't go out there and fight with them. So it's to be honest, it's a terrible feeling. Like I don't like being on the shelf. Like I like playing. That's the reason why I'm still playing year 10, just because I want to help my guys, help my friends, help my family.
What'd you think of the penalty, the unnecessary roughness?
Oh no, it shouldn't. It was a great hit. Russell, if you go back, the times I played against Russell when I was in San Francisco, Russell actually fake slid and stood up and then fell again. Like, he wasn't down. And I led with my shoulder. They tried to say I hit him in the helmet or whatever. I'm like, no. I led with my shoulder because my shoulder a little sore. And I want to say I connect with his shoulder. It's just when you hit a guy too hard nowadays, they're going to throw a flag. It's sooner or later NFL going to turn into flag football. That's just where we're heading.
And how are you?
There you go. That's Jimmy Ward turning into flag football, wussification of football. I mean, it's hard to argue. I thought that was a really bad call, and I almost wish they could look at that type of stuff, but they don't. They never look at 15-yard penalties like that and review them, which I think is crazy because of all the plays that they review. And let's be honest, like as much as we complain, like there are times where replay can like really swing some extremely potentially costly penalties, whether it's touchdowns, whether it's catches, whatever is reviewable. There's nothing more demoralizing than a 15-yard penalty. And I think anyone with a rational brain could have looked at that and thought, that shouldn't have been a penalty. And he just said Russell would fake slide. So he has a history there of understanding that. I thought it was a really, really weird call. Jimmy Ward, we'll hear from him a little bit later on as the recap continues. But Denver, they cut it to a one possession game, and then you have Texans giving the ball right back, and Stingley makes another elite interception. And I want y'all to go watch this play from different angles. First, I want you to watch Jalen Petrie on this play, because Jalen Petrie gets absolutely juked out of his jock by Courtland Sutton. And there is a double move. Sutton's wide open. Russell Wilson probably puts a little bit too much on the ball, but go back and watch it. Derek Stingley's instincts and ball skills, that's one of the most deadliest combinations you can have as a DB. And that's why Derek Stingley goes number 3 overall, despite any injury concerns, is because he has elite instincts, elite ball skills, and the usual skills that you need to be a cornerback in the NFL. And the reality is, most of these guys that get to this level, they possess the fundamental skills that you need to play football. They have the fundamental skills for the most part. But the guys who are elite, they have elite skills, whether it's instincts, whether it's ball skills, whatever, strength, speed, all that. Derek Stingley, it's always been the case that he has elite instincts and he has elite ball skills. And this play right here, with Denver down one possession, with them potentially going to take the lead, this was one of the biggest plays of the year. And it comes on the aftermath of him making one of the biggest plays of the year. They don't win this game without Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley, since he's come back, he has played about as good as you could expect. And the question remains for Derek Stingley. The only question is about health. But this play that he made, I want you to go back and watch this and watch what happened to Jalen Petrie here and what Derek Stingley did and how he did it. A lot of times, coaches will tell you to be in certain spots, and some players take that to the extreme. A lot of times, though, when you're a DB, instincts got to take over. Ed Reed wasn't always in the right place when he made plays. A lot of times the instincts just took over, and you're covering more ground than you need to, or more ground than you're being asked to. That's what Derek Stingley did here. And it was an absolute huge play. Then we had a scary moment. CJ Stroud had to leave the game. The Texans, they get a first down on a QB sneak. CJ has to leave the game. You see him kind of telling the trainers, I'm fine. In comes Davis Mills for the second time this season. And for the second time this season, Davis Mills completes a pass. Davis Mills moves the chains. He finds Nico Collins. And then we have CJ Stroud coming back into the game. Back and forth, Texans unable to really move the rock. Denver gets the ball. They drive down the field. You had 2 fourth-down conversions by the Broncos. And then you had a battle of timeouts. DeMeco calls timeout. Sean Payton calls timeout. DeMeco calls timeout. Sean Payton calls timeout. And then Russell Wilson goes back looking to ice the game. This isn't your mom and dad's Russell Wilson. This isn't even your younger cousin's Russell Wilson. This is the ghost of Russell Wilson, because he throws the interception right into the hands of Jimmy Ward, and the Texans ice it with an INT. They win 22-17 in a really huge win that they needed very much. So let's hear from CJ Stroud real quick. We'll get into the big plays and the biggest takeaways. And then we'll put a bow on this. And do we want to go on to New York, or do we kind of want to enjoy this one? We can go on to New York tomorrow. Reaction Monday. We still got that at 10. But let's hear from a very emotional CJ Stroud. Loses one of his best friends on the team and one of his most important targets. Here's CJ Stroud talking about the tech.
Amazing. It's a blessing to see your brother ball out like that. I know he puts in a lot of work throughout the week, and I sit there and just be in awe of him and how he comes to work every day with a great attitude. And I'm just proud to see his work kind of pay off, man. So blessed to be able to be in a position to feed him like that. And he's definitely stepped up where we needed him to.
Good teams win games like this against good teams, and this win says about you all.
I think it shows our resilience again. We're going to fight to the end. And it's not always going to be perfect. No game is ever perfect. We definitely got to clean some things up, but I think we're taking steps in certain areas that we needed to, and y'all just keep it going. It's hard to win after Thanksgiving, man. It's playoff football. It's already started. The tournament's already started, so we got to just keep it going and stack these wins.
Within this win, that's a loss of Tank's injury. Your thoughts on it and how it affects everyone emotionally, and also just the offense overall. Thank
you. I'm lost for words, man. I honestly don't know what to say. You see, your brother put in so much work and be so helpful. That's one thing about Tank. He's very unselfish, and to see him go out the game of football is tough, man. It's tough. We fight our tails off every day to make people happy. We put our lives on the body. Our bodies on the line, time in, time again, man. And just to see that happen, it's cold. It's it's not easy. I got to be there for him. So more so than anything, like forget football, like Tank as a person, like I know it's gonna be tough for him to get out of that. And who knows, man? He might be back playing Super Bowl. So try to be positive about it, but it's tough, man. I'm hurt. Like I can't sugarcoat it. I can't come up here and lie and say like, oh, we'll be all right. Nah, it's not, and I love him to death. I told him that. And 7-3 will be a great duo for the next couple of years, man. Right when he gets back, who knows, man? God works mysterious ways. It might not be that bad of an injury. Who knows? I don't really know. So I love my brother to death, and I'm praying for him, and I'm here for him no matter what.
I think you led the team in prayer at that moment. Because after that, what did you? I'm sure y'all would have shook up. Everybody shook up. What did you say to your teammates?
Yeah, we kind of had a similar moment when J. Pat went down, and that hurt as well. Like J. Pat is another brother of mine. Like this rookie class, I don't know if y'all know if anybody's told you, but we're really close. Like really, really, really close. Like all of us. And we all have similar mindsets. We came in, we said we're going to change this thing. We built a foundation. We're building that foundation. The foundation is us. And like kind of a similar situation when J-Pad, I feel like it's necessary to, when like the mojo is down or like the praises go up, even though like it's hard to thank God in those situations, you kind of have to. I mean, that's what being men of God is. And having that faith when nobody else does or hope when nobody else does. And it was good to see us as brothers kind of send our prayers. I always say one can send 1,000 angels, and I send 1,000 angels to Tank right now, so plead him with the blood of Jesus from head to toe. And it's tough, man. Like, and yeah, there's nothing else I can really say. I don't know.
CJ, on a more general note, I know this league is week to week, but what are the conversations about the building, knowing that you guys are, on a playoff push and you guys have a real opportunity down the stretch?
It's just let's clean up the issues. Let's get better while we can before it's too late. And like this game, we shot ourselves in the foot way too much. Had some MAs and things like that, and things on my part. I got to be better. But you don't want to always have. It don't have to be close, So, and I feel like Denver Broncos team was a great team, but we had a lot of things going to push us forward and put them away. But that's why they won 5 games straight. They don't go away, And that's every NFL team is very special and have talented players. So we just got to get better and learn from our mistakes and keep going and just stay resilient because that's what we need at this point.
Well, CJ, everybody around the league is talking about the performances that you're having game after game after game. Not looking like a rookie. You had some bad things happen today, but you just blow it off, go to the next play, and then the good things happen. How have you matured so quickly to look like somebody who's been in the league 3 or 4 years already?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like, I don't know, I have a mindset to where like I think like God just puts a sense of peace on me, and I feel like I put the work in the week to like understand, like, even though if it does go on, I mean, you gotta look at it, it's NFL. They're gonna make plays too. It's part of the game, and even for me, it took me a while to adjust to that. In college, like, we were better than everybody, so like it is what it was. Like we were just, other than when we played Penn State, Team Up North, Georgia, like those last surge games, like those are NFL type teams too. Players in college, but like in the league, that's every week. You're playing in Georgia, you're playing a Team Up North, you're playing everybody. That's great. For me, I just feel like during the week, I don't try to shortcut. I don't shortcut. I try to do everything that I do in my routine to get me back going. And I had a lot of great counsel and advice in the offseason from players in basketball, and football, and baseball. A lot of people I got to meet over the offseason, which is pretty cool. That like, just keep going no matter what. Like, don't blink. And for me, it's been a blessing to be able to put games together. And even in something like this, like, of course, we want some plays back on every position, including myself. But at the same time, like, we got out with a dub, so it is what it is. And you got to just keep going, man. So I'm blessed enough to have that mindset to keep going and not let one play affect another as best as I can.
Obviously, you're on offense, but team Derek Stingley make the plays that he made today, what kind of goes through your mind when you see him make some of those acrobatic plays?
He's special, man. That's one thing about Sting. He's special. And he's kicked a new gear on since really I feel like that week he went down after Indy going to Jacksonville. He was playing. Had a great week of practice, and I remember like walking up to DeMeco like, man, Sting looked great. Like I'm excited to see it. And then sadly he went down at practice. But like to see him catch that groove again and like see him work like he does. And I'm just proud of that dude. I went to him out in locker room like, man, I'm proud of you, bro. Like no matter what is going on, no matter who got something, it don't matter. Like you are who you are. You're here in this position because God chose you. And I'm proud of that dude, man. He's gonna continue to be great. And when you have a corner that can lock down one side, like it makes everybody else's job a lot easier, So proud of that dude, and I know he's gonna keep it going. So I'm proud of him.
Okay, can you tell us what happened there late when you had to leave the game for a couple plays and went into the 10th?
Yeah, I took a little shot, football, and I was fine. I felt all right, but Russ felt like I was out of it or whatever, and took me out of the game. And I went in the tent as fast as I could, jumped over a bench and ran on the field, So it's football. You gotta be tough, and I feel like I try to do my best and to play through injury or play through whatever. Everybody's hurt right now, so I just keep going.
Speaking of being tough, what was going on that moment where the linebacker went through on the false start and you stood your ground with him?
I'm a man, and I'm not gonna let somebody just come push me, especially in my house. Like you're not gonna just touch me after the whistle. You clearly hear it. I'm mad at that dude. Like he playing hard. He maybe tried to slow, he didn't, but I ain't like it, and I gotta control my composure. At the same time, I'm a man, and like Drewski said, I'm stand on business. So, but nah, man, yeah, I don't know. I appreciate my brothers having my back. That was one thing I look for.
Peter was ready to go.
George was on it. Everybody, So, but I gotta be calm in that moment and have composure. And I feel like I have throughout the year, but time and time again, I keep getting hit. I keep getting my face mask pulled, all type of stuff. And I'm not mad. Like I guess I gotta earn it because I'm a rookie or whatever. But I don't get a lot of calls, and I gotta stand on business and understand. Like, man, it's a fight for 60 minutes with me. You ain't gonna just come hit me and I'm gonna tuck my tail. So I'm not mad at that dude, and I talked to him after the game, and everything's all right.
Man, he's about that business. He's ready. It will be interesting when CJ does start getting calls for sure. It is a locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. Texans top the Broncos 22-17. Stroud 16-27, 274 yards, touchdown, sacked 5 times. It's going to be interesting to see how they attempt to replace Tank Dell. By the way, Cleveland's going to lose. So 7-5 teams right now. You're going to have Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Indy, and the Texans all at 7-5. Texans got Indy and Cleveland, 2 of their final 5. Got the Jets this week. I'll be in New York on the scene, Army and Navy there. So, yeah, 7-5. There's a big cluster. Let's recap the big plays, and let's get out of here and head into the new week. Reaction Monday tomorrow. The big plays of the game, I thought the CJ missed to Mechie. And this is just the standard CJ set. He plays well, but I think even CJ would tell you this is, if he hits Mechie, we're probably not talking about all these other big plays. I thought that was a big play, potentially could have been bigger. The Desmond King BS call that should have been a touchdown. No plays bigger than that. And then Stingley's first interception, which killed significant momentum with Denver, and the second interception, which did the same and really bailed out Jalen Petrie after getting kind of juked by Sutton. I thought that was huge as well. Biggest takeaways, biggest questions. How are they going to handle life without Tank Dell moving forward? Is this going to be the Will Anderson game? The answer is yes. Are we going to see Will Anderson games? The answer could be maybe. He's going to have a lot of opportunity. The Texans are not playing very good quarterbacks. There's going to be some opportunity for Will Anderson to pile up some sacks. Derek Stingley has looked elite. Next week, Stingley versus Sauce. We've had this argument a lot. Stingley versus Sauce in New York. The matchup we've been talking about, the pillow fight, all that, it's gonna come to a head in the Big Apple. Nico Collins, he is now the undisputed top receiver on this team. It was a 1A, 1B, Nico or Tank Dell. Nico 9 yards away from 1,000. Be interesting to see how Robert Saleh and other defensive coordinators key on him. Offensive line, can they improve the run blocking? Can they improve the pass blocking? You're not playing great quarterbacks for the remainder of the season, but you're playing some damn good defenses. So we'll keep an eye on that. And 7-5, the cluster of 7-5, Texans in control of their own destiny when it comes to the playoffs. How are they going to handle that? Who knows? It's been a fun time, been a fun week, been good vibes with the Texans. It was a good vibe today at the stadium. At Landry Locker on Twitter, if you missed the exclusive interviews, I'll also do a reaction to those on Tuesday. We got to figure out how we're going to fill the tank void around here, how they're going to figure it out. It's going to be interesting. Appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Appreciate everyone for giving me some of your time, whether it be Monday through Friday, whether it be right here. Texans content, it's a lot more fun than it has been. And we've been going strong since the start of last year. No days off, really. Content keeps coming. Content never sleeps. More coming every day this week, including in New York. Appreciate you for coming through. When it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.